Get down! Ren's voice comes out strangled as she covers the stranger's body with her own, her catering uniform riding up, her knee scraping against broken glass. Around them, the elegant charity gala erupts into chaos, screaming, running, the thunder of feet in expensive shoes. Beneath her, the man goes utterly still. Not the stillness of fear, but something else. Something predatory. "You're bleeding," he says, and his voice does something strange to her spine. It's deep, accented with something old-world and dangerous, and completely calm despite the pandemonium surrounding them. "I'm fine." Ren tries to get up, but his hand, cold, impossibly strong, wraps around her wrist. "Stay down." His eyes meet hers, and the world tilts. They're silver. Not gray, not blue-gray, but actual silver, like moonlight on water, like mercury, like nothing human. The pupils are too dark, too deep, and she has the sudden dizzying sensation of falling into them. Then security swarms them, and the moment breaks. "Before we continue, please prove my mom wrong. She says I can't hit 1,000 subscribers." "Okay, let's continue." 20 minutes later, Ren sits in a service corridor, her hands shaking as a paramedic bandages her knee. She can't stop replaying it, that split second when she saw the red laser dot crawling up the man's back, when every instinct she possessed screamed move. She's a nobody, a 47-year-old catering temp who's worked 6 different gigs this month just to make rent on her studio apartment. She has no business throwing herself in front of bullets meant for men in $10,000 suits. "Ms. Holloway?" She looks up. A woman stands before her. Impossibly beautiful, with skin like porcelain and hair so black it seems to absorb light. She wears a blood-red dress that probably costs more than Ren's car, and her smile doesn't reach her eyes. "My name is Sable Moreau. I work for the gentleman you assisted this evening." "Is he okay?" The question bursts out before Ren can stop it. "Unharmed, thanks to you." Sable's head tilts slightly, studying her with unnerving intensity. "He'd like to speak with you, privately. I should get back to work. My supervisor has been informed you're done for the evening. You'll be compensated, of course." Sable's smile sharpens. Mr. Ashford is quite insistent. The name sends a chill down Ren's spine. Everyone in Greyhaven City knows that name, even if they've never seen his face. Tobias Ashford. Owner of half the real estate in the financial district, patron of the arts, mysterious billionaire who appears at exactly 3 public events per year, and, if the rumors are true, something much older and more dangerous than a simple businessman. "I don't think he asked me to give you this." Sable extends her hand. In her palm rests a small card, cream-colored with a single address embossed in silver. The Ashford Tower, penthouse. "I really should. Tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock. Sable's eyes flash with something that might be amusement or warning. "He doesn't ask twice, Ms. Holloway." Then she's gone, moving with a fluid grace that makes Ren's remaining catering colleagues look like they're wading through molasses. Ren stares at the card in her hand. The logical thing would be to throw it away, to pretend this never happened, to go back to her quiet, struggling, ordinary life. Instead, she tucks it into her apron pocket, her heart beating a rhythm she doesn't recognize. The Ashford Tower dominates the Greyhaven skyline like a blade of black glass. Ren stands on the sidewalk, staring up at it, wondering if she's lost her mind. She almost didn't come. Spent the entire day talking herself out of it, then talking herself back in. She has no idea what a man like Tobias Ashford could want with someone like her. Probably just wants to thank her properly, maybe give her money to keep quiet about what happened. The thought makes something in her chest twist uncomfortably. The doorman, a stern-faced man with silver at his temples, takes one look at her and steps aside. No questions. As if he'd been told to expect a middle-aged woman in a department store dress and discount shoes. The elevator to the penthouse requires a key card. The doorman provides it without a word. As the elevator climbs, Ren catches her reflection in the mirrored walls. She looks tired. The lines around her eyes seem deeper than they did last year. Her dark blonde hair, threaded with gray she can't afford to color anymore, is pulled back in a practical bun. She's wearing her best dress, a navy blue thing she bought for her daughter's college graduation 3 years ago, but it looks cheap under the elevator's harsh lighting. What is she doing here? The elevator doors open directly into the penthouse, and Ren's breath catches. Floor-to-ceiling windows wrap around the space, offering a view of Greyhaven that makes the city look like a constellation of fallen stars. The decor is minimalist but exquisite, all clean lines and dark wood, with art on the walls that she recognizes from museum catalogs. A grand piano sits near the windows, its surface so polished it reflects the city lights like still water. You came. She spins around. Tobias Ashford stands near the windows, backlit by the city, and Ren's heart does something complicated in her chest. He's tall, over 6 feet, with broad shoulders and the kind of lean strength that comes from something other than gym memberships. His hair is dark, almost black, swept back from a face that's too beautiful to be entirely human. Sharp cheekbones, a mouth that's almost cruel in its perfection, and those eyes, silver and ancient and fixed entirely on her. I wasn't sure I should, Ren admits, her voice steadier than she feels. But you did. He moves closer, each step deliberate. Do you know why? You wanted to thank me. For last night. Is that what you think? He stops a few feet away, close enough that she can see the inhuman stillness of him. He doesn't breathe the way normal people do. Doesn't blink enough. You threw yourself in front of a bullet meant for me. You didn't hesitate. Didn't think. You just moved. Anyone would have... No. The word is soft, but absolute. No one else in that room even saw it coming. But you did. Why? Ren's mouth goes dry. I don't know. I just... felt it. Something flickers in his expression. Not quite a smile, but close. You felt it. Interesting. He turns away, moving to a sidebar where crystal decanters sit like jewels. Would you like a drink? I don't usually. Tonight isn't usual. He pours something dark and amber into 2 glasses. You saved my life, Ren Holloway. The least you can do is let me offer you a drink. The way he says her name makes her skin prickle. She takes the glass when he offers it, careful not to let their fingers touch. The liquor inside smells expensive and dangerous. How do you know my name? I know a great deal about you. You're 47, divorced 8 years, 1 daughter, Piper, who just started a doctoral program in environmental science. You worked as a dental hygienist for 20 years before your practice closed. Now you work 3 different catering jobs to make ends meet. You live alone. You haven't dated anyone seriously since your divorce. He pauses. You take care of a stray cat that isn't actually a stray. It belongs to your neighbor, but you don't know that. The glass trembles in her hand. That's invasive. That's thorough. He takes a sip of his drink, watching her over the rim. I needed to understand who you were. Why you did what you did. And? Did you figure it out? No. The admission seems to surprise him. Which is why you're here. You're an anomaly, Ren. A variable I can't solve. She should leave. Every instinct except that strange singing one that made her throw herself in front of a bullet tells her to walk away right now. Instead, she says, What are you? The question hangs in the air between them. Tobias goes very still, and Ren realizes she's never seen anyone quite so motionless. Like a statue. Like something carved from marble and given the semblance of life. What do you think I am? I think you're the thing people whisper about at parties after too much wine. I think you're the reason there are garlic wreaths in half the restaurants downtown, even though we're nowhere near Italy. I think you're the reason the mayor looks nervous whenever your name comes up. She drains half the glass in one burning swallow. I think you're a vampire. The word seems to echo in the vast space. Ren waits for him to laugh, to call her crazy, to have security escort her out. Instead, Tobias smiles. Really smiles. And his teeth are white and perfect, and just slightly too sharp. You're either remarkably brave or remarkably foolish. I've been called both. Her heart hammers, but she keeps her chin up. I'm right, aren't I? Yes. Simple. Direct. Undeniable. I'm what your folklore calls a vampire. though the reality is more complex than your stories suggest. I'm also the king of this territory, what you'd call the East Coast, and I've held that position for longer than your country has existed. Ren sinks into the nearest chair, her legs suddenly unreliable. This is insane. This is truth. He crouches before her, bringing his face level with hers. Up close, she can see the inhuman perfection of his skin, the way the lamplight catches in his eyes like silver coins at the bottom of a well. Last night, someone tried to assassinate me. That someone hired a professional with a weapon specifically designed to kill my kind. If that bullet had struck me, I'd be ash by now. Why tell me this? Why not just, I don't know, wipe my memory or something? Because you interest me. And because you saved my life, which creates a debt. His hand reaches out, fingers hovering just above her bandaged knee. You bled for me. Do you understand the significance of that in my world? No. It means you're under my protection now, whether you want it or not. His eyes meet hers, and the intensity there makes her breath catch. There are those who would kill you simply for being in that room last night, for seeing what you saw, for interfering. Fear, cold and sharp, slides down her spine. I didn't ask for this. I know, which makes what happens next your choice. He stands, moving to the windows. You can leave. I'll have guards on you. You won't see them, but they'll be there. You can go back to your life, your catering jobs, your studio apartment. You'll be safe, protected, but always looking over your shoulder. Or... He turns and the city lights behind him make him look like something from a dark fairy tale. A king in his tower. A monster in his castle. Or you stay. Accept a position in my household. I need someone I can trust, Ren. Someone whose instincts saved my life. Someone who sees threats I can't. His smile is slight, almost self-deprecating. Apparently, 300 years of survival have made me complacent. I need fresh eyes, human intuition. You. I'm a dental hygienist, a failed one. I don't know anything about protecting vampire kings. You knew enough to save my life. He crosses back to her, and this time he does touch her. Fingers light under her chin, tilting her face up to meet his gaze. His skin is cool, like marble that's been in shadow. I'm offering you a job, Ren Holloway. As my personal attendant and advisor, you'd live here, want for nothing. Your daughter's doctoral program would be funded, your debts erased. All I ask in return is your presence, your instincts, your honesty. And if I say no, then I let you go, and hope I'm not making a fatal mistake. She should say no, should run from this beautiful, impossible man and his beautiful, impossible offer, should go back to her safe, small, struggling life. But when was the last time someone looked at her like she mattered? When was the last time she felt necessary, vital, important? When was the last time she felt anything at all? I need time to think. Of course. He steps back, giving her space. Take tonight. But Ren? His voice stops her as she stands. Whoever tried to kill me will try again. And next time they might come for you first. To get to me. There's no neutral ground anymore. You're in this now. The only question is whether you're in it under my protection or alone. The elevator ride down feels longer than the ride up. Ren's mind spins, trying to process everything, failing. She steps out onto the street and nearly collides with someone. Excuse me, the man says, but his smile doesn't match his words. He's ordinary looking, forgettable, except for his eyes, cold and calculating. You're Ren Holloway, aren't you? The hero from last night? Warning bells scream in her head. I don't know what you're talking about. Sure you do. You saved Tobias Ashford's life. He leans closer and his breath smells like copper and rot. That was very stupid of you. She tries to step back, but he grabs her arm. His grip is bruising, inhuman. Let me go. You know what he is, don't you? What he does? And you saved him anyway. The man's face contorts, bones shifting under skin. You should have let him die. Then something massive and dark slams into him, tearing him away from Ren. She stumbles back against the building, watching as two figures blur and clash in the shadows of the alley beside the tower. It's over in seconds. The man who grabbed her lies crumpled on the ground, his neck at an impossible angle. Standing over him is a woman, the same woman from last night, Sable Moreau. "Are you hurt?" Sable's voice is calm, professional, as if she didn't just kill someone with her bare hands. No. Who was he?" "An assassin. A young one. Stupid enough to come at you directly." Sable steps over the body without a second glance. "You should go back upstairs." "Now." "But I was leaving. Do you think that was coincidence? He was waiting for you." Sable's eyes flash in the darkness. "They know who you are now, Ms. Holloway. They know you saved him. They'll keep coming until they use you to get to him, or they eliminate you to send him a message. Those are your options if you leave tonight." Ren looks at the body, at the dark blood pooling on the concrete, at her own hands still shaking. Then she turns and walks back into the tower. Tobias doesn't look surprised when the elevator doors open again. He's standing exactly where she left him, as if he knew she'd come back. "Your guard killed someone," Ren says. "I know. Sable is very efficient." He pours her another drink without asking. "Are you ready to give me your answer?" "You knew he was out there. You knew I'd be attacked." "I suspected." "Your arrival here didn't go unnoticed." He hands her the glass. "I could have stopped it before it started, but you needed to understand what you were walking away from. I won't lie to you, Ren. I won't manipulate you, but I will let you see the truth, even when it's ugly." She drains the glass in one swallow, welcoming the burn. "Tell me exactly what this job entails. You'll live here, attend events with me, act as my companion and advisor, watch for threats I might miss. In return, you'll have everything you need, and protection from those who'd use you against me." Companion. The word tastes complicated in her mouth. "You mean mistress." "I mean companion. If more develops between us, that will be your choice." "I'm not interested in coercion, Ren. I've lived too long to find any pleasure in taking what isn't freely offered." His silver eyes hold hers. "I want your mind, your instincts, your honesty. Everything else is negotiable. And if I want to leave, you leave, though I'd prefer 24 hours notice for security purposes." It's insane, all of it. But standing in this ridiculous penthouse, her arm still aching where the assassin grabbed her, Ren realizes something. She's been living half a life for years now, working herself to exhaustion just to stay afloat, watching her daughter grow further away, coming home to an empty apartment where even the cat isn't really hers. She's been safe. She's been small. She's been invisible. Maybe it's time to be something else. "Okay," she says. "I'll do it." Tobias's smile is slow, transforming his face from severe to something almost warm. "Thank you." "Don't thank me yet. I have conditions." "Name them." "My daughter doesn't know about any of this. As far as Piper's concerned, I got a new job as an executive assistant. Normal, boring, safe. Agreed. I want to keep in touch with my friends. I'm not disappearing completely. Of course, though your movements will be monitored for your safety. And I want the truth, always. Even when it's ugly." She steps closer, feeling brave and reckless and alive for the first time in years. "Especially when it's ugly." Tobias regards her for a long moment, then extends his hand. "You have my word." His palm is cool against hers, his grip firm. The handshake seals something she doesn't entirely understand, but feels all the way to her bones. "Welcome to my household. Ren Holloway. I think you're going to be very interesting." The first week passes in a blur of strangeness and adjustment. Ren's new rooms, because apparently she has multiple rooms now, overlook the river. There's a bedroom with a bed so soft she sinks into it like a cloud, a sitting area with shelves already stocked with her favorite books. How did he know? And a bathroom bigger than her old apartment's entire living room. Sable becomes a constant presence, teaching her things she never imagined needing to know. How to identify other vampires by their stillness, their grace, the way they move through space like they're not quite bound by the same physics as everyone else. How to spot threats in a crowd, where the security cameras are hidden throughout the tower, which doors she can open and which she absolutely cannot. "This one," Sable says, stopping before a seamless panel in the hallway, "leads to the king's private chambers. You don't enter unless explicitly invited." "Noted. And this one." Sable gestures to another door. This one, made of what looks like solid silver, leads to the blood vault. No humans allowed. Ever. Ren doesn't argue. She sees Tobias mostly in the evenings. He keeps odd hours, sleeps during the day, works through the night. They take dinner together, though she quickly learns he doesn't eat food the way she does. He makes a show of it for her benefit, pushing things around his plate, occasionally taking small bites that seem more habit than necessity. "You don't have to pretend," she tells him on the fourth night, watching him carefully dissect a piece of salmon he has no intention of eating. "Old habits." He sets down his fork. "I was human once. Sometimes I forget that was over 300 years ago. What was it like, being human? Hungry." The word is soft, distant. Always hungry. For food, for security, for time I didn't have. When I was turned, I thought I'd finally have everything I needed. Turns out, immortality just changes what you're hungry for. And what are you hungry for now?" His eyes meet hers, silver in the candlelight. "I'm still figuring that out." The moment stretches between them, heavy with things neither of them is ready to name. The attack comes on the 9th night. Ren is in the library, a room so full of books it smells like ancient paper and leather, when the lights cut out. Emergency lighting kicks in immediately, bathing everything in red. "Stay where you are." Sable's voice comes through the darkness, sharp and commanding. "Don't move." Ren freezes, her heart hammering. She hears sounds from elsewhere in the penthouse, crashing, snarling, sounds no human throat could make. Then silence, more frightening than the noise. The door bursts open. A figure moves through the red-lit darkness, too fast to track. Not Sable. Someone else. "Found the human," a man's voice says, hungry and amused. "Ashford's new pet." Ren backs against the bookshelves, her hands scrabbling for anything she can use as a weapon. Her fingers close around something heavy. A marble bookend. "He's going to be so broken when we bring him your head," the vampire continues, stepping into the light. He's young-looking, maybe 20, with blood on his mouth and madness in his eyes. "You ruined everything. You know, when you saved him. We'd been planning that for months. Sorry to disappoint." "Oh, you won't disappoint. Your death is going to be the message that brings him to his knees." The vampire lunges. Ren throws the bookend. It catches him in the face, not enough to stop him, but enough to make him stumble. She dives sideways, rolling behind a leather chair. Not fast enough. He grabs her ankle, yanks her back. His grip is iron, his strength inhuman. Then he's gone, ripped away from her with such force she hears bones break. Tobias stands over the intruder's body, and Ren has never seen anything like him. His face is transformed, sharper, more angular, with fangs that gleam in the red light. His eyes burn silver white, and the sheer rage emanating from him makes the air feel thick and dangerous. "You dare," he says, and his voice echoes with something ancient and terrible, "to enter my home, to threaten what is mine." The young vampire scrambles backward, terror replacing his earlier confidence. "I didn't. We were just..." Tobias's hand closes around his throat, lifting him effortlessly. "Who sent you?" "I can't..." "Wrong answer!" Something in Tobias's face shifts, and the vampire screams. Ren looks away, her stomach churning. She's heard about vampire kings, about their power, but seeing it is different. Feeling it is different. When the screaming stops, Tobias drops the body and turns to her. His face is already shifting back to something more human, but his eyes still burn. "Are you hurt?" Ren shakes her head, not trusting her voice. He crosses to her in 2 strides, his hands, still spattered with blood, cupping her face with surprising gentleness. "Ren, answer me. Are you hurt?" "No, I'm okay." Something in him seems to break. He pulls her against his chest, and despite everything, despite the blood, despite what she just saw him do, Ren finds herself melting into the embrace. His body is cool and solid, and his hands shake slightly where they press against her back. "I'm sorry," he murmurs against her hair. "I'm so sorry. This is my fault. I put you in danger." "You saved me." "I shouldn't have had to." He pulls back just enough to meet her eyes. "This was a coordinated attack. They came for me, but they wanted you, to hurt me through you." "Did they... Is anyone else?" "Sable and the others are fine. We lost 1 guard. The intruders are all dead." His thumb brushes her cheek, wiping away a tear she didn't realize had fallen. "But this isn't over. They failed tonight, but they'll try again." "Then what do we do?" "We send a message of our own." His eyes hold hers, intense and searching. "Tomorrow night there's a gathering. Every vampire of importance in the territory will be there. I was going to attend alone, but I think it's time I made a statement." "What kind of statement?" "That you're under my protection, formally, publicly." His hands slide to her shoulders, steadying her. "It will make you safer in some ways, more of a target in others. It will also bind us together in the eyes of my court. You'll be seen as mine, Ren. Not as a servant or an employee, but as someone precious to me. Are you willing to accept that?" The question feels like it carries more weight than she understands. But looking into his eyes, seeing the genuine concern there, the fear he's trying to hide, Ren realizes something. She trusts him. This impossible, dangerous, beautiful creature. She trusts him. Yes. Relief floods his expression. "Thank you." He presses his forehead to hers, just for a moment, a gesture so intimate, it steals her breath. "I'll keep you safe, Ren Holloway. I swear it." The Crimson Hall is exactly what Ren expected from a vampire gathering place. Opulent, gothic, and more than a little terrifying. They arrive together, Tobias in a black suit that probably costs more than a car, Ren in a dress that Sable assured her was appropriate, deep burgundy silk that clings in ways that make her self-conscious, even though it's elegant rather than revealing. "Remember," Tobias murmurs as they step from the car, "you're with me, under my protection. No one will dare touch you. And if they try, then I'll remind them why I'm king." The entrance hall is crowded with vampires, dozens of them, maybe hundreds, all beautiful and terrible and utterly inhuman. Conversations stop as they enter. Every eye turns to them, to her. Ren fights the urge to hide behind Tobias. "That's the human," someone whispers, not quietly enough. "The one who saved him. Bold of him to bring her here." "Foolish, you mean?" Tobias's hand settles on the small of her back, possessive and reassuring. "Ignore them." They move through the crowd, Tobias stopping occasionally to exchange pleasantries with various vampires. Ren stands beside him, trying not to feel like prey in a room full of predators. Then someone steps into their path. He's tall, dark-haired, with eyes like chips of ice and a smile that makes Ren's skin crawl. "Tobias, how unexpected to see you here. With company, no less." "Aldrich," Tobias's voice goes cold. "I thought you were still in Europe." "I came back for the gathering. Couldn't miss the opportunity to see our great king in person." Aldrich's eyes slide to Ren, assessing, dismissive. "And this must be the human everyone's talking about. The one who got lucky and blocked a bullet." "Her name is Ren Holloway," Tobias says quietly, "and you'll address her with respect." "Respect? For a human?" Aldrich laughs. "She's a pet, Tobias. A novelty. Don't pretend she's anything more." The temperature in the room seems to drop 10 degrees. Vampires nearby step back, sensing danger. "She saved my life," Tobias says, each word precise and deadly, when no one else in that room even saw the threat. She bled for me. She accepted my protection, knowing full well what it would cost her. She has more courage in her smallest finger than you've shown in your entire existence. So yes, Aldrich. Respect. Aldrich's smile vanishes. You're making a mistake. She's a weakness, a vulnerability. How long before someone uses her against you? Let them try. Tobias moves closer to Aldrich, and though he doesn't raise his voice, power rolls off him in waves. And Aldrich? If I find out you had anything to do with the attack on my home, if I discover you sent those children to their deaths in some pathetic bid for my throne, I will end you. Slowly. Publicly. And I will enjoy every moment of it. Aldrich pales, if such a thing is possible for a vampire. I had nothing to do with that. Then you have nothing to fear. Tobias steps back, his hand returning to Ren's back. Now move. You're blocking our way. Aldrich moves. As they continue through the crowd, Ren realizes her hands are shaking. Is he going to be a problem? Aldrich is always a problem, but he's a coward. He'll scheme and plot, but he won't move against me directly. Tobias guides her toward a raised platform at the far end of the hall. Not after tonight. What's happening tonight? You'll see. The platform holds a single chair, not quite a throne, but close enough. Tobias doesn't sit. Instead, he pulls Ren up to stand beside him, facing the assembled vampires. The room falls silent. Most of you know who I am, Tobias begins, his voice carrying easily through the vast space. Some of you respect that. Some of you tolerate it. Some of you... His eyes find Aldrich in the crowd, resent it. That's fine. I've never required your love, only your obedience. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. And 9 days ago, someone tried to kill me. They failed, thanks to this woman. He gestures to Ren. Ren Holloway, human, fragile, mortal, and braver than most of you will ever be. Ren's face burns as hundreds of inhuman eyes focus on her. Someone in this room, Tobias continues, either ordered that attack or knows who did. They sent assassins into my home. They threatened what is mine, and they failed. His hand closes around Ren's, lifting it. From this moment forward, Ren Holloway is under my personal protection. She is mine, my companion, my advisor, my treasured guest. Any harm that comes to her will be considered an act of war against me, personally. Any insult to her is an insult to me. Any vampire who so much as looks at her wrong will answer to me. The silence is absolute now. Furthermore, Tobias says, and his thumb brushes over Ren's knuckles, let it be known that I value her life as I value my own. She is not a weakness. She is not a pet. She is not a novelty. She is mine, and I am hers, and anyone who doubts that is welcome to test me. He releases her hand and addresses the crowd again. Someone tried to kill me. That someone has made an enemy of not just me, but of everyone in this room who values stability, peace, and prosperity. I suggest you find them before I do. Because when I do, and I will, their death will serve as a reminder of why I've held this territory for 300 years. He sits then, pulling Ren down to sit on the arm of the chair, his arm wrapping around her waist in a gesture that's both protective and possessive. Now, he says, conversational again, let's enjoy the evening. I believe there's entertainment planned. The crowd slowly begins to move again, conversations resuming, but Ren can feel the weight of their stares, their speculation, their calculation. You just painted a target on my back, she whispers. I just made you untouchable, he corrects softly. Anyone who comes for you now isn't just defying me, they're defying the social order of the entire territory. They'd need an army, and they'd need to be very, very sure they could win. And if they are that sure, then at least we'll know who our enemies are. His arm tightens around her waist. Trust me, Ren, this was necessary. The evening wears on. Vampires approach the platform in ones and twos, offering stilted congratulations or thinly veiled threats disguised as concerns. Through it all, Tobias keeps Ren close, his hand never leaving her waist, his body language clear. She is his, and he is not sharing. It should feel oppressive. Instead, it feels safe. Around midnight, Tobias leans close, his breath cool against her ear. Are you ready to leave? God, yes. His laugh is quiet, private. Come, I've made my point. They slip away from the gathering, back to the car, back to the relative safety of the tower. Ren sinks into the leather seat, exhausted in ways that have nothing to do with physical tiredness. Thank you, Tobias says as the car pulls away. For what? For standing with me tonight. For being willing to be put on display like that. I know it wasn't comfortable. It was terrifying. Ren looks at him in the dim light of the car. But I understand why you did it. Do you? His silver eyes search her face. I'm not sure I understand it myself. I told myself it was strategy, protection, the smart, political move. His hand finds hers in the darkness. But the truth is, when I saw that vampire touching you, threatening you, I wanted to tear the world apart. And that's not strategy, Ren. That's something else entirely. Her heart does a complicated flip in her chest. What are you saying? I'm saying I'm not sure I hired you just for your instincts anymore. His thumb traces circles on the back of her hand. I'm saying that when I think about you leaving, about you being anywhere but close to me, I feel something I haven't felt in decades, maybe centuries. What's that? Fear. The confession hangs in the air between them. Ren knows she should be careful here, should guard her heart, should remember that he's a vampire king, and she's a middle-aged woman who worked, catering jobs to make rent. But when was the last time someone looked at her like she mattered this much? When was the last time she felt this alive? I'm not going anywhere, she says softly. His smile is slow, transforming his face. Good, because I'm not letting you go. 3 weeks pass in a strange, dreamlike haze. Ren settles into her new life more easily than she expected. She learns the rhythms of the household, the protocols, the hidden rules that govern vampire society. She attends events on Tobias's arm, slowly becoming familiar to his world. She learns to read the subtle signs of vampire politics, who's in favor, who's plotting, who can be trusted, and who absolutely cannot. And she learns Tobias. Not just the king, the vampire, the ancient creature of legend, but the man beneath all that. She learns that he likes classical music but secretly enjoys pop songs from the 80s, that he collects first editions of books he read when they were newly published, that he has a dry sense of humor that catches her off guard and makes her laugh, that he's lonely in ways he's never quite learned to articulate. They spend their evenings together, talking about everything and nothing. He tells her stories about the world before electricity, before cars, before everything she takes for granted. She tells him about her daughter, her failed marriage, the small disappointments that make up a mortal life. And slowly, without quite meaning to, Ren falls. It's not dramatic. There's no lightning bolt moment. It's quieter than that. It's the way he always makes sure there's coffee ready when she wakes up. The way he listens when she talks, really listens, like her words matter. The way he touches her, hands at her back, fingers brushing her arm, casual intimacy that feels anything but casual. It's the way he looks at her when he thinks she doesn't notice, like she's something precious and fragile and worth protecting. It's the night she finds him standing at the windows, staring out at the city, looking lost. What's wrong? She asks, coming to stand beside him. I received word tonight about the assassins. We found who sent them. That's good, isn't it? It's complicated. He's quiet for a long moment. It was someone I trusted. Someone who's been in my court for over a century. He's been organizing a rebellion. Not because he wants power, but because he thinks I've grown weak, complacent. He thinks my attachment to you proves it. Ren's stomach drops. I'm sorry. Don't be. Tobias turns to her, his eyes fierce. He's wrong. You don't make me weak, Ren. You make me remember why any of this matters. For 300 years I've maintained power, kept the peace, ruled with an iron fist. but I'd forgotten why I wanted to do those things. I'd forgotten what it felt like to care about something beyond strategy and survival. He reaches up, cupping her face with both hands. You remind me. Every day, you remind me what it means to want something beyond power, to protect something because it matters, not because it's practical. What are you going to do about the traitor? What I have to do. What's expected of me. His jaw tightens. He'll be executed, publicly, as an example. Is there no other way? In my world? No. He leans his forehead against hers, and Ren can feel the tension in him, the weight. This is what I am, Ren. This is what I do. I can't change that. I'm not asking you to change. She wraps her arms around him, pulling him close. I'm just sorry you have to do it. He holds her for a long time, and Ren realizes this is what he needs, not absolution. Not understanding, just someone to hold him while he does the terrible things that come with his crown. Stay with me tonight, he murmurs against her hair. I don't want to be alone. Okay. They don't talk about what that means. They move to his private chambers, the place Ren has been forbidden from entering since she arrived. Inside, it's surprisingly simple. A massive bed with dark sheets, books everywhere, a few personal items that speak of a life lived across centuries. Tobias disappears into the bathroom, and Ren sits on the edge of the bed, her heart hammering. She's not naive. She knows what he's asking, what this could mean. When he returns, he's changed into simple black pants and nothing else, and Ren's breath catches at the sight of him. He's beautiful in the way ancient statues are beautiful, perfect and cold and somehow untouchable, until he sits beside her and becomes touchable again. I should tell you, he says quietly, that I haven't been with anyone. Not like this. Not in a very long time. How long? Decades. It's complicated being what I am. Vampire relationships are often about power, strategy, bloodlines. Human relationships are, he trails off, brief. I'm not exactly a spring chicken, Ren says, trying for levity. I come with 47 years of baggage and stretch marks. You come with 47 years of living, of surviving, of becoming exactly who you're meant to be. His hand finds hers. You're beautiful, Ren. Not despite your age, not despite your humanity. Because of it. The kiss starts gentle, just a soft press of cool lips against hers. But then something ignites between them, something that's been building for weeks, and suddenly gentle isn't enough. Tobias pulls her into his lap, and Ren goes willingly, her hands sliding into his hair, her body pressing against his. He's everywhere, hands at her waist, lips on her throat, teeth grazing her skin without breaking it. Tell me to stop, he murmurs against her neck. Tell me to stop if you don't want this. I want this. Her voice comes out breathless. I want you. What happens next is nothing like Ren expected. She thought it would be cold, clinical, strange. Instead, it's warm and urgent and achingly intimate. Tobias touches her like she's precious, like she's the answer to a question he's been asking for centuries. And Ren touches him back, discovering that vampire skin is cooler than human skin, but not cold, that his body responds to her touch with a desperation that mirrors her own. They don't speak much. They don't need to. Everything they've been trying to say for weeks comes out in touches, in kisses, in the way they fit together like they've been doing this forever. Afterward, they lie tangled together in his enormous bed, and Ren traces patterns on his chest with her fingertips. Is it always like that? She asks. Between vampires and humans? I don't know. I've never felt like this before. His arm tightens around her. I've never wanted anyone to stay the way I want you to stay. I'm not going anywhere. You say that now, but eventually you'll remember what I am, what I do. You'll remember that I'm a killer, Ren. That I'll execute a man tomorrow without hesitation. That I've done worse things than you can imagine, and I'll do them again if necessary. Ren props herself up on her elbow, meeting his eyes. I know what you are. I've always known. And yes, you do terrible things. But you do them to keep the peace. To protect your people. to maintain order in a world that would collapse into chaos without you. She touches his face gently. You're not a monster, Tobias. You're a king. And sometimes kings have to do monstrous things. How are you so understanding? I've lived long enough to know that nothing is simple. People are complicated. Situations are complicated. You can be good and still do bad things. You can be right and still cause harm. She kisses him softly. I see you, Tobias. All of you. And I'm still here. He pulls her back down against his chest, and his voice when he speaks is rough with emotion. I love you. I know it's too soon. I know it's complicated. But I love you, Wren Holloway. Her heart feels too big for her chest. I love you too. They fall asleep like that, tangled together, and for the first time in 300 years, Tobias sleeps without nightmares. The execution happens 3 days later in the Crimson Hall, with all the vampire court in attendance. Wren stands beside Tobias on the platform, wearing a black dress that Sable assured her was appropriate for the occasion. She watches as the traitor, a vampire named Benedict, who looks young but is apparently over 100, is brought forward in silver chains. Benedict Ashworth, Tobias says, his voice carrying through the silent hall. You stand accused of treason, of plotting against your king, of hiring assassins to take my life, of orchestrating an attack on my home. How do you plead? Benedict's eyes are defiant. Guilty, and I do it again. You've grown soft, Tobias. You let a human into your bed and call it love. You put a mortal woman on display beside you and call it strength. You're weak. I see. Tobias's expression doesn't change. And you thought you'd be better? I thought I'd remember what we are. Predators. Kings. Not pets to humans. One human, Tobias corrects softly. One woman who saved my life. One person who sees me as more than a monster or a meal ticket. That's what you can't stand, isn't it, Benedict? Not that I love her, but that she loves me back. That someone could look at what I am and choose to stay. Benedict spits at his feet. She's a distraction. A weakness. You'll die because of her? Perhaps. Tobias stands, moving to stand before the chained vampire. Or perhaps I'll finally have something worth living for beyond the endless grind of politics and power. He turns to address the room. Let this be a lesson to all of you. I rule this territory not because I'm the strongest, though I am. Not because I'm the oldest, though I'm among them. I rule because I remember why we created these systems in the first place. To protect our kind. To maintain peace. To ensure that we're not discovered and destroyed by the human world. He looks at Benedict again. You forgot that. You let your pride and your prejudice blind you to what matters, and now you'll pay the price. What happens next is quick and brutal. Tobias's hand moves almost too fast to see, and suddenly Benedict is ash on the floor, his chains clattering empty. The room is silent. Tobias returns to the platform, his hand finding Wren's, his fingers threading through hers. Court is adjourned. Later, in the privacy of his chambers, Tobias holds Wren and shakes. I'm sorry you had to see that, he murmurs. I asked to be there. I need to understand all of you, not just the parts you want to show me. Do you still love me? After seeing what I can do? Wren pulls back to meet his eyes. I see what you did, Tobias. I saw you give a speech about protecting your people instead of just executing him silently. I saw you make his death mean something. I saw a king doing what kings do. She kisses him gently. And yes, I still love you. His arms tighten around her. I don't deserve you. Probably not. But you're stuck with me anyway. 6 months pass in a blur of happiness Wren never expected to feel again. She becomes a fixture at vampire gatherings, no longer the human curiosity, but Tobias's acknowledged companion. The vampires treat her with respect, or at least with polite deference. She learns their names, their politics, their petty feuds and grand alliances. She becomes good at reading rooms, at sensing threats, at being exactly what Tobias said he needed. Fresh eyes on an old world. She also becomes something else. Happy. Her daughter visits once a month, and if Piper notices that her mother looks younger, more vibrant, more alive than she has in years, she doesn't comment beyond saying she's glad Mom found such a great job. Wren's debts disappear. Her daughter's education is fully funded. Her old friends remark on how well she looks, how radiant, how different. But the best moments are the private ones. Late nights with Tobias, talking about everything and nothing. Mornings where she wakes to find him watching her sleep, his expression soft. Quiet evenings reading together in the library, stolen touches in hallways. The way he still opens doors for her, still pulls out her chair, still treats her like she's precious, even after 6 months of intimacy. They're in the library one evening when Sable interrupts. "Apologies, my lord, but there's a situation." Tobias looks up from his book, instantly alert. What kind of situation? Aldrich has called for a formal challenge. The temperature in the room drops. Wren looks between them. What does that mean? It means, Tobias says carefully, that Aldrich is challenging my right to rule. He's invoking an ancient protocol that allows any vampire to contest the throne through single combat. Can you refuse? Not without looking weak, which is exactly what he's counting on. Tobias stands, his hand finding Wren's. He thinks 6 months of peace and happiness have made me soft. He's about to learn differently. The challenge takes place a week later, in a neutral location, an old estate outside the city that's been used for vampire duels for over a century. Wren stands with Sable and the rest of Tobias's household, watching as the two vampires circle each other in the center of a large ballroom. All the major players in vampire society are here, witnesses to what happens next. "I'm going to enjoy this," Aldrich says, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Killing you. Taking your throne. Getting rid of that human pet you're so fond of." Tobias doesn't rise to the bait. "You're welcome to try." The fight is brutal and fast. Wren can barely track the movements. They're just blurs of motion, impacts that shake the floor, the sound of flesh hitting flesh. Both vampires are bleeding, not human blood, but something darker, thicker. Both are hurt. But Tobias is faster, stronger, and fueled by something more than ambition. When it ends, Aldrich is on his knees, and Tobias stands over him with his hand on the other vampire's throat. "You made a mistake," Tobias says quietly. "You thought love made me weak, but it's the opposite. I've spent 300 years with nothing to lose. Now I have everything to lose, and that makes me dangerous." He looks at Wren then, holding her gaze across the room. "I love her. She's mine, and I will end anyone who threatens what we have. Do you understand?" Aldrich manages a nod. "Good." Tobias releases him. "Leave my territory. You have until sunrise. If I see you again, I won't be this merciful." Aldrich flees, and the assembled vampires bow to their king. Tobias crosses the room to Wren, ignoring everyone else, and pulls her into his arms. "Are you all right?" "Me? You're the one who just fought for your life." "I fought for you." He kisses her forehead, her cheeks, her lips. "Always for you." The crowd watches, and Wren knows this is another statement, another public declaration. She's okay with that. Let them watch. Let them see that the Vampire King loves a human woman, and he's not ashamed of it. Let them see that she loves him back, monster and man, king and killer, all of it. Let them see that some love stories don't fit neat categories, that some bonds transcend species and centuries, and every sensible reason to stay apart. "Take me home," she murmurs against his chest. "Always." 1 year after the night Wren threw herself in front of a bullet, they return to the Obsidian Hotel. The ballroom has been transformed for a private event, just Tobias's inner circle, a few trusted allies, and Piper, who's been let in on the secret of what her mother's executive assistant job really means. "You're dating a vampire," Piper says, not for the first time. "My mother is dating a vampire king." "I know it's a lot to process." "Are you kidding? This is amazing. Wait until I tell my roommate. She's going to die. Piper pauses. Should I not tell my roommate? Let's keep it quiet for now, Tobias says, appearing at Wren's elbow with 2 glasses of champagne, though I appreciate your enthusiasm. Piper grins at him. You know, when Mom said she met someone, I was picturing like a divorced accountant or something, not Dracula. I'm significantly better looking than Dracula, Tobias says solemnly, and Wren laughs. As the evening wears on, Tobias pulls Wren aside, leading her to a quiet corner away from the crowd. Do you remember this spot? Wren looks around. This is where you saved my life, where everything changed. He takes both her hands. 1 year ago, I thought I had everything figured out. I'd lived for 300 years, ruled for most of them, and I was confident I knew what I wanted and what I needed. And now I know I didn't know anything. His silver eyes hold hers. You changed everything, Wren. You made me remember what it means to be more than a king. You gave me reasons to care about the future beyond strategy and politics. You made me feel things I thought I'd forgotten how to feel. He releases one of her hands to pull something from his pocket. A ring. Simple, elegant, with a stone that catches the light like captured moonlight. Wren's breath catches. I know this is complicated, Tobias continues. I know I'm not exactly what anyone pictures when they think of marriage proposals. I'm dead, or undead, or whatever you want to call it. I can't give you children, grow old with you, or do any of the normal things humans do. But I can give you forever, Wren. I can give you my protection, my loyalty, my heart. I can give you a life that's extraordinary and strange, and probably terrifying sometimes. And I can promise that I will love you until the stars burn out, if you'll let me. He drops to one knee, this ancient, powerful creature kneeling before a middle-aged human woman, and Wren's eyes fill with tears. Wren Halloway, will you marry me? She doesn't hesitate. Yes. The ring slides onto her finger perfectly, and then Tobias is on his feet, pulling her into a kiss that makes her forget they're in a room full of people. When they finally break apart, the room is applauding. Piper is crying. My mom is marrying a vampire king. Oh my God. Sable raises her glass. To the king and his queen. To the king and his queen, the room echoes. Wren looks up at Tobias, at this impossible man who loves her, and thinks about the bullet she threw herself in front of, about the choice she made in a split second that changed everything. She'd do it again. 1,000 times she'd do it again. I love you, she whispers. I love you, too. He kisses her again, softer this time. Thank you for saving me. Thank you for letting me. Outside, the city glitters like a constellation, full of ordinary people living ordinary lives. But inside the Obsidian Hotel, in the spot where a bullet once flew and a woman threw herself in front of a king, something extraordinary is happening. A love story that shouldn't work, that breaks every rule and defies every expectation, is getting its happy ending. And when Tobias Ashford, Vampire King of the East Coast, leads his future wife onto the dance floor, holding her like she's the most precious thing in all his 300 years of existence, Wren Halloway realizes something. She's not just surviving anymore. She's living. And that makes all the difference.